Sri Sai Ram. Hearty welcome to Sri Satya Sai Lok Seva Gurukulam online classes in science. Today's topic is about periodic classification of elements. Already we have seen 3 parts earlier. This is the 4th part. I think all of you are ready. Fresh you have come with the books, pens and all other things, right? Okay, shall we start? What we have studied so far: early attempts at the classification of elements. We have seen that classification, the word classification means arranging things in order. I think you remember I told the example of a mall wherein all items are arranged in order, like paste, brush, soap and everything, so that you can search easily, right? So that is a classification, scientific arrangement of things. So that is very essential. So also elements which were discovered then, they made some attempts. Before this there was only 2 classification, namely metals and non-metals. But scientists like Dobereiner started the first type of classification, that is called Dobereiner's triads. He took sets of 3 elements like lithium, sodium, potassium. He said that all of them behave alike because they are metals. Like that he made 3 sets of elements, that is why it is called triads. After Dobereiner came Newlands, who made law of octaves. Octave means group of 8 elements. Just as you have the swaras in music, the first swara called sa, again repeated sa, ri, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. So the first and the 8th swaras, they behaved alike, just as you see in the classical music. So that is what Newlands did. He also could not do for all the elements discovered then. So he also became limited, but anyway it is also one of the new way of thinking. Then came Mendeleev, who got of arranging elements in the increasing order of atomic masses. So by intuition he got that the elements discovered then should be arranged in vertical columns called as groups. And also he said the horizontal lines called as columns. He divided the set of 64 elements discovered then into groups and periods. And these columns also called as periods. So that is how he did the classification. Again there was some anomalies, or there are some limitations of them. One of them being that there was no place for isotopes, or the atomic masses, more atomic mass, element having more atomic mass was kept first, like cobalt and nickel. So then came the present modern periodic table, also called as long form periodic table, discovered by Moseley. Henry Moseley formulated the present periodic table, also called as modern periodic table. So this is the change what you see, or this is the improvement as far as the periodic table is concerned. And let us just go through the homework once. I think many of you have done it. The first question is, how could the modern periodic table remove the various anomalies of Mendeleev's periodic table? So, just now I told you there is some change. Modern periodic table is based on increasing order of atomic numbers. Mendeleev's table is based on atomic masses, whereas modern periodic table is based on atomic numbers. So, by which the properties of elements can be predicted accurately. There are no chance of placing more than one element in a given place, whereas in Mendeleev, two or more elements have been kept in one place. It does not happen or does not occur in this modern periodic table because it is based on atomic numbers. What do you mean atomic number? Atomic number is the number of protons or number of electrons present in an atom of an element, right? And second one, the second anomaly, what you find? What do you mean anomalies? Anomaly means limitations, drawbacks. For every invention there will be some drawback, and that will lead to improvement, right? So, the second anomaly, the elements in the same group have the same number of valence electrons, because in this modern periodic table it is been formed on the basis of electronic configuration, and these groups will have the same group will have same number of valence electrons. For example, group number 1 will have 1 valence electron, group number 2 will have 2 valence electrons, and so on, right? Whereas the periods are made on the basis of shells, elements in the same period will occupy the same number of shells. What do you call it as? K shell, L shell, etc. So, in the first period you have 2 elements, so only 1 shell. Second period you have 2 shells, K and L, like that. So, it is all based on the shells. Then you have position of hydrogen. Hydrogen has a very special place in the modern periodic table, and that is, it is placed in the first group because it has only 1 shell with only 1 valence electron. Even though hydrogen is not a metal, it is placed in the first with metals because there is only 1 shell with only 1 valence electron. Okay, and this is answer for the first question. Coming to second question, name 2 elements that you would expect to show chemical reaction similar to magnesium. What is the basis of your choice? Magnesium is a metal having atomic number 12. So, atomic number of magnesium is 12. So, you have to show 2 elements, namely you have beryllium, because beryllium also has got 2 electrons. Here if you write the configuration of magnesium 282, beryllium is atomic number So it has got only 2 electrons in the outermost orbital, beryllium. Then comes calcium. Calcium is atomic number 20. Atomic mass of calcium is 20. So in case of calcium, you have 2, 8, 8, 2. Outermost is 2. Here also outermost is 2. Here also outermost is 2. All of them have 2 electrons in the outermost orbital, and that is why they resemble magnesium, and that is why they are placed in the second group. And both of these elements have 2 valence electrons in the outermost shell. As you have beryllium, first shell is 2, K shell, L shell is 2. Calcium, K2, L8, M8, N2. As the case of magnesium, K shell 2, L shell 8 and M shell 2. How do you decide the number of electrons? By the Bohr's formula, that is 2n square, where n stands for the shell number. I think already you have studied in class 9th. First, for example, the first shell is called K shell, will have 2 into 1 square, that is 2. And if you have shell number 2, that is called as L shell, this is K, this is L, 2 into 2 square, that is 4 into 2 is 8. Third shell is M, N equals 3, 2 into 3 square, that is 18, right? The maximum number of electrons. So this modern periodic table is based on the valence electrons. Here all these elements have 2 electron, valence electron in the outermost orbit. Now coming to the third question, name 3 elements that have a single electron in the outermost shells. Single electron, lithium, sodium, potassium, all of them belong to first group. In case of lithium, we have first shell 2, second shell 1. Sodium 11 atomic number, so 281. Potassium, that is also first shell, 10, 18, 19. So all of them have 1 electron in the outermost shell. So this is the example, 3 elements, lithium, sodium, potassium. Lithium symbol is Li, sodium is Na, potassium is K. Okay. Coming to second question, 2 elements that have 2 electrons in the outermost shells, beryllium and magnesium, we already discussed it earlier. So beryllium has 2 electrons in the outermost, and magnesium has 282. Then name 3 elements with the filled outermost shells. So all filled outermost shells means they are called as inert gases, or also called as noble gases. Helium, it has got the first shell filled with 2 electrons. Neon will have 8 outermost. Argon also will have 8 in the outermost. So these are filled electrons, means they have got sufficient number of electrons in the outermost orbital, and we say they are called inert gases. In the modern periodic table, they are placed in the 18th group. You can check. This is placed in the second group. This is placed in the first group, right? So this is the answer for the third question. We will pass on to the last question there, or today's topic. We already know these things. but you are discussing about a position in the periodic table, is it not? For example, in this class your madam or your teacher conduct a test. Why does it conduct a test? It is to know your position in the class as far as the academic standard is concerned. Who is scoring very high marks, who is average, who is below average, like that. So, without conducting a test, we cannot make out the position, right? So, also, for example, metals are present in the left hand portion of the periodic table. All of you know your left hand? Come on, raise your left hand. Okay. Come on, raise your right hand. Okay, happy you know your hands at least. But left hand is used very less. But please make use of left hand also for many activities. Even bowling you might have heard left-handers, batsmen also left-handers. Many actions can be done like sweeping, arranging, all this. If you try with left hand, your brain power will increase. Please note, you can experiment. The right side of the brain will activate. If you do every action in right hand, only left portion of the brain will activate. So, think on that and practice. Okay, next time you tell me how you experience. So, in the first group we find strong metallic elements called as alkali metals. So, metals like lithium, sodium, potassium are called alkali metals. Why they are called so? Because they produce or they react with the oxygen forming basic oxides. When the basic oxide dissolve in water, they form alkalis. For example, if you take sodium, sodium reacts with oxygen to form sodium oxide. It is a basic oxide. When sodium oxide dissolves in water, it forms sodium hydroxide. It is a alkali. It is a alkali. So, sodium hydroxide also called as caustic soda, and that is how even lithium also forms lithium oxide and lithium hydroxide. Potassium forms potassium oxide and then potassium hydroxide. Therefore, they are called as alkali metals. And second group we have alkaline earth metals. They are not so active as these, but anyway they are also alkaline in nature. For example, magnesium form magnesium hydroxide, calcium form calcium hydroxide, etc. And they are available in the earth, hence the name alkaline earth metals. And secondly, you have non-metals. Also you must note that metals are electropositive elements. What do you mean electropositive? The elements which give electrons are called electropositive. The elements which takes in electrons are called electronegative. For example, non-metals are called electronegative elements. They are in the right hand portion. You just refer the table there of the periodic table, you find the right side. You have elements like fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, etc. They are called halogens. Halo means salt, gens means producers, salt producers. Salt of fluorine is called fluoride, this is chloride, bromide, iodide, etc. So, non-metals will be in the right side, metals in the left side. And there are some special elements like chalcogens called oxygen, sulfur, selenium, etc. They are called chalcogens and they are in the 16th group. Okay. This is the one classification you can find in the modern periodic table. Also you have metalloids. Metalloids means element that show mixed properties of both metals and non-metals. They are present in the diagonal line starting from group 13, boron. So in the periodic table you find like this. So starting from boron, it ends in polonium. So this zigzag type you can find. In the left side this will be metals, the right side you have non-metals. In between you find what are called as metalloids. And this starts from group 13 going down up to group 16, right. So these are the special type of elements, example being boron, polonium, etc., etc. Okay. Now let us see what are the changes we observe, what is the speciality observed as far as the modern periodic table is concerned. The first one is valency. What is valency? Valency is defined as the combining capacity of an element. Suppose a competition is held, who will eat more chapatis? And of course you may like it, especially North Karnataka, boys and girls like rotis. They will eat 4, 5, 6, 7, some even eat dozens also. If you go to North India, they eat chapatis more, what you call as roti dal, they will eat dozens. So that is the capacity they develop. They do not want rice, this and that, only rotis. Okay. Of course taste will differ from person to person. Here valency of an element is determined by the number of valence electrons present in the outermost shell of an atom. For example, you have what is the valency of magnesium with atomic number 12 and sulfur with atomic number 16. So here the configuration is written. Of course in your book, some of the book they leave like this, first shell is 2, second shell is 8, third shell is 2, like that also you can write. This is in detail called Aufbau principle. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. What is this sp? sp are called subshells. What is this 1, 2, 3? They are called as shells. So valency is 2 because it gives out 2 electrons. So if it is ready to give 2 electrons, there must be somebody to take electrons, and that is for example sulfur. Sulfur takes in 2 electrons because we have 6 electrons here, its capacity is 8, so it can accept, therefore it is called as electropositive elements, this is called electronegative element, valency is 2. And of course in case of sulfur you have one more important item, the valency of sulfur is, that has got varied valencies 2, 4, 6 exactly, but for practical purpose we use the valency as 2 only. Similarly phosphorus has 2 valencies 3 and 5, that is how the form compounds trichloride, pentachloride. Sulfur also, sulfur monoxide, sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide. Okay. Anyway, those who give electrons and those who take electrons, give electrons are called electropositive, like metals like magnesium, calcium, etc. Non-metals like sulfur, oxygen, hydrogen, etc., which accept electrons are called electronegative elements. And in a given group the number of filled shells increases. So in a case of group, first group you have, so the shell number go on increasing, the number of valence electrons is the same in the first group if you take all of them have the same number of valence electrons. For example, you have start with hydrogen, then below that you have lithium, below that you have sodium, like that it continues. So all of them will have same number of valence electrons, that is 1. Outermost is only 1. And in a given group, in a given period, number of valence electrons in a particular shell increases from left to right. Means what? In the first period, if you take the valence electron is 1 in case of hydrogen, in case of helium it is 2, is it not? Coming to second period, starts from lithium, valence electron is 1. And the 16th you have 8 electrons. So number of electrons in a particular shell increases from left to right. So if you take a period, it increases. In a group, it remains the same. That is what is called as trend. Everybody has a trend, is it not? So for example, if you are a businessman, you will see the trend of the market. For example, gold rates are coming down. The trend of the market in gold has come down. In the case of petrol, diesel, the trend has gone up. Now of course, it has been some more steady and coming down again. So that is called a trend of the market. So also this is one of the trends about valency. Coming to second trend, that is about atomic size. Here what do you mean atomic size? Size. In your class also, some boys are thin and lean, and girls also. Some boys are fat, some boys are tall, with a size is big, size is small. Is it not? Even there will be persons who will be about 7 feet, 7 point something. There are persons who will be about 3 feet. Is it not? So here also in atoms also you have size. It refers to the radius of an atom. Atomic radius is the distance between the center of the nucleus and the outermost shell of an isolated atom. So you have studied in geometry. There will be center here, and this is what is called as radius. Distance between the center and the any point on the circumference. This is called radius. So atomic radius means distance between the center and the outermost. Suppose this is one shell, this is the outermost. Suppose you have two shells, this is the distance. If you take R1 here, R2, like that. So that is the distance. And how do you measure it? It is measured by the unit called picometer, PM. 1 picometer is equal to 10 to the power of minus 12 meters. You have heard about micrometer. Micro means how much? 10 to the power of minus 6 micrometer. Millimeter, minus 3. That is called as millimeter. Centimeter, that is 10 to the power of minus 2 of a meter, that is called centimeter. Centimeter, millimeter, micrometer, and so on. There are different measurements of small measurements. So here it is still smaller, minus 12, such a small one. So in hydrogen it is 37 picometer. So note the name, PM means not timings there, it is picometer, the one of the size, how do you measure it. So that is the next trend. You can see the figure. What is this figure represents? It tells about atomic radius of second period elements. I think all of you have seen the periodic table. If you can just open the page and find out, there will be different periods. This is the second period. What is the first period called? Shortest period. Second and third, short periods. 4 and 5 and 6, long periods. So 4 and 5, long periods. 6 and 7 are called longest period. Is it not? Here this is the short period. In this period you have how many elements? So, in the second period you have starting from lithium. This is the size in picometers, 134. Beryllium is 90, boron is 82, carbon is 77, nitrogen is 75, oxygen is 73, fluorine is 72. So, what do you see here? The atomic radius decreases as you move from left to right. You see size go on decreasing. So, size means what? Radius go on decreasing, and the atomic side increases down the group. If you take groups, you see it increases. As you come down, you can see this. This is in the case of a group. And what is the name of this? First group: lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, etc. This is the size of the atoms. This is the shape, you can say, and radius is 134, 154, 196, 211, 225. So, radius go on increasing. Okay. Now, coming to the next trend, the metallic and non-metallic properties, how they will be in the modern periodic table. So, metallic character increases from top to bottom in a group as the tendency to lose electrons increases. So, for example, carbon is a non-metal, then comes silicon, it is a metalloid, germanium metalloid. What is metalloid? It has got property of both metal and non-metal. And strontium is a metal, then comes lead, it is a metal. So, what does it show? The non-metallic property go on increasing. Non-metal becomes metal in the end, is it not? So, if you come to the period, metallic character decreases in a period from left to right. Here sodium is a metal, magnesium is a metal, metalloid is, aluminum is a metalloid, silicon is a non-metal, phosphorus non-metal, sulfur non-metal, carbon non-metal. So, metallic property go on decreasing. And what is increasing? Non-metallic property go on increasing as you move in the period. This is in the case of group. Is it clear? Okay. Now, here you must note, already we have discussed it, the tendency of elements to lose electrons to form cations is called electropositive or metallic character of an element. So, cations means what? For example, sodium. Sodium, its atom has 11 electrons and 11 protons. So, its atomic configuration will be atomic number 11 means 281. So, during chemical reactions it loses one electron and it becomes sodium ion, and that is 2 and 8, 1 electron is lost. That is called cation. Now, sodium atom becomes sodium ion. Similarly, potassium also. Potassium after losing electron become potassium ion, and that is why it is called as metallic. This is called property, a metallic property. So, this losing of electrons like sodium, potassium, etc., they are called electropositive elements. And coming to electronegative, tendency of accepting electrons to form anions. That time we told sodium gives out electron. The electron given by sodium is taken by chlorine and it forms chloride ion. So, these two together form what is called electrovalent compound or ionic compound, namely sodium chloride, what's called as common salt. Here sodium gives out electron, whereas chlorine atomic number is 17, takes in that electron, forms chloride ion. These two together form sodium chloride. In Kannada we say, ತಾಯಿಗಿಂತ ಬಂಧುವಿಲ್ಲ, ಉಪ್ಪಿಗಿಂತ ರುಚಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. That salt, what you eat every day, in all of our food items there will be salt compulsory. Even sweets also will have little salt. What are you telling? It is compulsory. Little salt is to be added. Even for jalebi, jahangir also they add little salt. So, why? For taste they do it. See, sodium is formed by a poisonous metal called sodium and a poisonous gas called chlorine. Both are poisonous. But salt is free from both of these metal, sodium and non-metal chlorine. And why it has happened? It is formed by what are called as ions, and the bond is called ionic bond, and the compound is called ionic compound. Okay. So, one gives out electron, that is called cations, one takes in electrons, they are called anions. Hence, they form what is called as electrovalent compounds. Now, coming to the one more important property, the modern periodic table zigzag line separates metal from non-metals. The borderline elements like boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, etc. are called as metalloids. We already referred it just for reference. Boron is B, silicon is Si, germanium is Ge, arsenic is As. All these are called metalloids, which have property of both metals and non-metals. Okay. Now we shall see some home assignments. In the modern periodic table, which are the metals among the first 10 elements? So, in the table you must see first 10 elements. Second question, by considering the position in the periodic table, which one of the following elements would you expect to have maximum metal characteristics? In this you must see which will have maximum metallic property out of these elements. In a modern periodic table, calcium atomic number 20 is surrounded by elements with atomic number 12, 19, 21, 38. Which of these have physical and chemical properties resembling calcium? Okay. I hope all of you come prepared for these questions. Okay. Very well. Do it nicely. Thank you.